Hi, I'm John Flavin. I'm here in Indonesia. I'm about to interview an Indonesian resident about the endangered species in this country. Hello, sir. What's your name?
Morgan.
Hello, Morgan. Nice to meet you. So, I just wanted to ask you, what's going on with all the endangered species in this country? What's causing it?
Poaching, deforestation, and hunting.
That's horrible. It's terrible to hear.
And a lot of rhinos and elephants are being harmed, causing many of them to be extinct.
It's so disappointing.
Indonesia is a country which is rich in biodiversity. It is estimated that there are more than 300,000 wildlife species and 17% of the world's wildlife live in Indonesia, even though Indonesia's land is only 1.3% of the world's land. There are two main causes of wildlife extinction in Indonesia, and they are habitat loss and wildlife trade. In 1990, a law passed making the trade of protected wildlife illegal and liable to a maximum of a 5-year prison term. The evolution over the past few weeks has improved the life of the endangered species. More and more species are having laws and restrictions made around them to protect their future in the wildlife. For example, the Javan hawk eagle is now off limits to the public to capture, own as a pet, or trade. There are also becoming more reserved land areas specifically for endangered species of tigers and rhinos. Apart from habitat degradation in both quality and quantity, wildlife trade becomes another threat to the wildlife in Indonesia. More than 95% of the traded wildlife in the markets are wild caught instead of captive bred. More than 20% of the traded wildlife die in vain due to inappropriate transportation and handling. Many protected and threatened wildlife are openly traded in Indonesia. The more endangered the species is, the more expensive the price, and it is far cheaper to wildly catch the animals than to breed them. More recently, animal protection companies have been exporting these endangered species to zoos around the world, where the habitat is far safer and better suited for the wildlife. There are also charity services where anyone can donate to in order to help the cause for the well-being of these animals. The increasing number of companies cutting back on palm oil is also positively affecting the endangered species of Indonesia.
Hi, I'm here with the CEO of the leading palm oil company in Indonesia. His name is Tim Leonard, and I'm going to ask him a couple questions. So, Tim, how do you think your industry and your company is affecting the species in these forests?
Well, I know it's bad for them and it's harming them, but the industry is doing great, so I think that's all that really matters right now.
Alright, I see your point, but do you realize what you're doing to these animals and like how much it's affecting the whole country?
I
really?
do know, yes. I just read a fact that in the past 16 years that over 100,000 Bornean orangutans have died.
That's horrible, and you're going to continue to run your company and...
Yeah, for sure, because a lot of companies are stopping the whole palm oil deal because of the endangered species, but not us. We're going for it.
It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Many endangered species in Indonesia is caused by deforestation, and it's estimated that 50% of the Sumatra's forest cover has disappeared from 1985 to 2008 due to deforestation. And not only does this cause many species to be endangered and even extinct, but it causes humans to actually have to find new homes and move to more populated areas, causing many more overpopulated cities and forests to be less populated than they were when there was more cover. The indigenous people of these forests that have to continue to relocate to either different places of the forest or just out of the forest in general, it completely changes their lives, and not in a positive way. The infrastructure of just the way they provide for their families and just live life in general completely changes from a forest to more like of a city, and it really affects them negatively. The main reason for deforestation in Indonesia is companies cutting down trees to sell their product, mainly palm oil companies, and that happens all over the world, but in this country in particular, they need to find a better balance of making money by selling these products and chopping down these trees and keeping their animals alive. Indonesia and Malaysia produce 85 to 90% of the world's palm oil, And obviously, in both countries, deforestation is a huge issue. And it's estimated that the palm oil production in Indonesia only accounts for between 1.5 and 2.5% of the nation's GDP. Destruction of the Sumatra forests are really driving global climate change and species extinction, according to the WFF. And the new study is found that nearly 10.5 million acres of tropical forests have been cleared in the last 25 years. And the amount of carbon emissions caused from that, in Indonesia alone, their carbon emissions are equivalent to 122% of the Netherlands' total annual emissions. Hi Morgan, nice to have you back. I spoke with Tim Leonard yesterday. Are you familiar with who that is?
Yes, I am.
He told me his company has been cutting down lots of trees and it's killing a lot of animals, especially orangutans. Like, how do you feel about that?
Really bad. It's hurting their country a lot, and I love the animals here.
How do you think we could help these animals and endangered species?
I know a few ways we can help them.
Okay, for solutions, we need to make sure that everyone knows that these animals are being extinct, so we need to spread the word around. Okay, now many products make use of palm tree oil. It's used in foods, cosmetics, and soaps. Many tropical forests are being stripped to make room for palm tree farms. If you see palm tree oil on the label of the product you're buying, make sure that the company harvests the oil in a sustainable manner. You can find a list of companies that support ethical palm oil harvesting on the Union of Concerned Scientists website. Third solution, just eat less meat. The meat industry has a huge impact on the environment, harming the welfare of the endangered species. Rainforests, home to many endangered species, are often clear-cut to make room for factory farms. So you could help by eating a plant-based diet so you could eat less meat. Last but not least is to recycle and buy sustainable products. Buy recycled paper sustainable products like bamboo products to protect forest species. Never buy furniture made from wood from rainforests. Recycle your cell phones because a mineral used in cell phones and other electronics is mined in gorilla habitats. Minimize your use of palm oil because forests where tigers live are being cut down to plant palm plantations. The future for the extinct animals, for the Mer leopard, the Cross River gorilla, the Sumatran tiger, the Van Rhino, and many more is not bright. Almost all of them have less than 500 species left in Indonesia. Many are dying from the human destruction of pollution, deforestation, and poaching. And if this area doesn't get talked about more, they will be extinct and not exist anymore.